So today we are going to talk about another use of subjunctive clauses called indirect questions. So you can find the examples and a little bit of dialogue on page 91 of your green textbook. So I have up here on the board direct and indirect questions. So we've seen direct questions before. What are you doing? Where are you going? They're typically seen in direct dialogue between two people. So here, who heard the shout? All right? Or where does the king live? Or where are you? What are you doing? Or why are you coming? Or if you want to even make it a little more specific, why are you coming? Here. All right? So an indirect question is a subordinate clause in a Latin sentence that uses a subjunctive verb. So here we have the indirect question. So quis quomodo audivit? Who had heard the shouts? So pluperfect subjunctive. Here, where was the king, or where the king was living? Imperfect. What are you doing? Or where are you? Both imperfects. This is the imperfect of sum. Remember, second principal part plus MST, MUSTS, NT. So remember, what's the second principal part of sum? Essay. So same rules. And we got venerate here, another imperfect subjunctive. All right. But with the indirect question, you typically have added onto it this idea of a head verb. Right? So this is a verb involving something to do with the head. It can be hearing, udire, seeing, udire, speaking, dicere, knowing, skio, not knowing, neskio, any of those kind of general head verbs. So here, the centurion was not knowing who had heard the shouts. Indirect question. The centurion's not asking anyone. He's not asking who heard the shout. We're saying indirectly that the centurion was not knowing who had heard the shouts. We'll double underline our head verbs. You can think of indirect questions kind of like hearsay in a court of law, where it's not the person actually asking anything, it's being reported by someone else. So here, the horseman had found out where the king was living. So the horseman's not asking, hey, where does the king live? Somebody's reporting that the horseman found out where the king lived. So we still have these question words, all right? We still have quis, ubi, we have ubi here, we have cur, we have quid, but they're just being subordinated by some other verb. So here, the opposite, where are you, what are you doing? Dic, tell me. We can have imperatives. So dic mihi, tell me where you are, what you are doing. All right? So we've taken all these direct questions and we've put them into indirect questions. The final thing is you can have rhetorical questions put as indirect questions. So, cur in suas possessione venerit, why did he come into our territories, our possessions? That's a line from Caesar's Gallic War. So why did he come into our territories? And so that's a kind of rhetorical device. We know why. He's invaded. He wants to steal our stuff. But it's a rhetorical question. The direct question is, why did you come here? All right? So indirect questions is taking the direct question and making it be reported by another party. So for some other examples of direct and indirect questions, there's part C on page 91. So the first one, quis puerum interfecit? Is that a direct question or is that an indirect question? Yes, it is. Well, I shouldn't say yes, because maybe some of you got it wrong. But it is a direct question, all right? Hopefully you all guessed that, right? So, who killed the boy? Somebody directly asking, who did the killing? Then we have, nemo sciabat quis puerum interfecit. Is that indirect or direct? Right, it is indirect. We have that head verb, skriebat. We have that knowing. And then we have the question word, quis, and we have the subjunctive, interfecesset. So no one was knowing who had killed the boy. Now remember, pluperfect subjunctive, time before the main verb. All right. Ubi pecuniam invenerit, direct or indirect? Yes, it is direct. And so, where did they find the money? And then, Yundix me rogawit ubi pecuniam inveneset. So again, is this direct or indirect? Good. Hopefully you guessed indirect. And so the judge asked me where they found the money. Right? So asking is another example of a head verb. It's something that comes, from the head, a sense that you can perceive with your head. Number 5, salvis nescebat qui quintus regem auduerat. So is that direct or indirect? Good. It is indirect. So Salvius was not knowing why Quintus was helping the king. So at the same time he wasn't knowing, Salvius was doing the helping. Remember, imperfect shows things are happening at the same time. So Salvius was not knowing why Quintus was helping the king. All right. Number 6, number 7, and number 8 are all indirect questions. All right, and I'll let you guys, if you want, you can go through and translate them on your own. And that's kind of how you identify them. You look for that head verb, you look for a question word, you look for the subjunctive. You translate them just normally. If pluperfect shows past time, imperfect shows same time. So the centurion was not knowing who had heard the shout. The horseman found out where the king was living. All right. So we'll be doing some practice in class with changing direct questions into indirect questions. But as always, if you have any questions, feel free to email me about them. And if not, I will see you in class.